Good evening, everyone. On this wonderful Wednesday evening, I hope you will begin to connect with me and join me quickly. I'm here once again on day 6, I believe it is, of my challenge to post every night, to come and share with you something every night. And I hope that I'm sharing things that are enriching to you, that are interesting to you as you're coming on. If you'd be so kind to uh, type in a greeting in the comment box so I'll know that you're with me, so I'll know who's with me, if you don't mind. I know some people like to remain anonymous, but I like connecting with my audience. And when you type in a comment, that's one of the ways that I get a chance to connect with you. I know some of you come on here to get to know me a little better. Good evening, Jackie. So glad you've chimed in tonight. Thank you so much. But I'd like to get to know you all as well. You know, that's the one disadvantage with being behind the camera, um, especially if the audience is not interacting with you. It's kind of get hard to get to know people. Good evening, Brittany, Lakeisha. God bless you. Thank you for popping in. Joyce, Tisha Hillman. Good evening to all of you. I see many more of you are starting to pop in now. And again, I ask that you would type in a greeting in the comment box. Deacon Ron, good evening to you. Hey, sis, Angie, good evening to you. So we're welcoming all of you. I think we're going to have a pretty good discussion tonight, an interesting discussion tonight. Cassandra, good evening. And good evening, Lachelle. God bless you. Thank you all for chiming in tonight and greeting me in the comment box. Toya, good evening. I know who you are now. Praise God. I love it when I know the people that are connecting with us on our live stream page. We want to give other people a little bit more time. Um, Thank you, Tisha, for reminding everybody to make sure you hit that like button. That is very, very helpful. We want people to see that if I'm getting a whole lot of likes, that will get more people interested in hearing what I have to say when I do come on. I hope that you have your notifications turned on. I believe many of you do. That's why you're joining me in the first place. But if you don't have your notifications on and you just happen to run across me, I encourage you to turn on your notifications. I'm not going to be on here very long tonight. I promise you that. So we're going to get going in just a few minutes. I'm going to give a few more people opportunity to possibly notice that they've received a notification and decide to join us tonight. I've been sharing with you all that I'm in the midst of this challenge, this 30-day challenge, to come on and share with you for 30 days straight. And I've even included Saturday and Sunday. I've been getting on here sharing with you for 30. I'm going to be sharing with you for 30 days straight. We're on day 6 today. But what I'm looking at it as is a way to get myself ramped back up so I can start doing Mocha Moments more consistently once again. I'm trying to build back up to that place where I was before, when I was sharing with you almost on a daily basis. Lucy, good evening to you. Laverne, good evening to you. God bless you. Glad you've joined us tonight. While we're still waiting, if you don't mind, you know how I always do. I ask you to send a text message out to someone that you care about, someone that you believe will benefit from the discussion that we're going to have tonight. And y'all know with me, you never know what you're going to get, but hopefully whatever we get an opportunity to share with you will only prove to be a blessing to you. My primary objective every time I come on is to share whatever I can that will add value to my audience. I want you to always go away from any of the vodcasts that I do feeling as though, hey, you know what? I learned something. I was encouraged by something. Um, I really needed to hear that, or this is something that I really need to share with someone else. Good evening, Tracy. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to give it just a few more minutes, really, probably another 30, 40 seconds, and I'm going to get into what I want to talk about tonight. All right. Just a few more seconds here, and we're going to get rolling. I know this part of it is kind of boring because it's always boring waiting on people to chime in, to log on, and all that kind of stuff. But I feel better when I'm talking to people, talking to a majority of the audience that's going to join us, rather than starting and having people to join us in the middle of the discussion. And I know I can't totally avoid that, but I can start off with as many people on and listening as possible. Well, with that being said, Lady Ann just joined us. Thank you, Lady Ann, for joining us. I'm always encouraged when she pops on, and y'all know exactly why. All right. Listen, tonight I want to talk to you all about how to know who you cannot trust. I know that kind of piqued some of your interest right there, just knowing who you cannot trust, because the reality is you just can't trust everybody. Listen, trusting some people, number one, is tricky. It can be a trap, and it definitely can get you into trouble depending on who you are trusting. And I've had my experiences with coming out on the wrong side of things simply because I trusted some people that I never, ever should have trusted at any part in my life. Deborah, thank you for joining us tonight. Throw up one of your hand. Give me a hand emoji if you've ever been there. If you ever been in a situation wherein you trusted someone that you absolutely should have never, ever trusted. It did you way more harm than good. And initially, when you decided to trust that individual, you felt pretty good about it. You felt that it was going to be a safe situation, only to discover or find out down the road that the person that you trusted was not trustworthy. And it's really heartbreaking when you trust people with some very sensitive things concerning your personal life. Uh, Antoni 88. I hope I'm saying that right. You pardon me if I didn't pronounce your name right. Thank you for joining us. I see you all are throwing those hands up saying, yeah, you've been there. Lakeisha, Ann, Jackie, Toya, Tisha. Yeah, I think we've all had that experience. Brittany, trusting people we had no business trusting. I wouldn't say we had no business trusting, but we just made a mistake. We made a mistake, and all of us are prone to make mistakes. I'll be the first to put my hand up to tell you, yeah, I've been in that situation, and it does not feel good. But one thing that happened or occurred when I did trust people who were not trustworthy, who I found to be not trustworthy, I learned lessons from trusting people. And, you know, the tricky part about it is that when you have a bad experience from trusting one person, you kind of get a little bit gun shy in that you're not quick to trust other people. And that could be a good thing. But on the other hand, it could be a bad thing as well, because there are times that there are people that come into your life whom you need to trust, but you don't feel comfortable trusting because of the bad experiences that you've had with other people that you trusted and they betrayed you. Well, again, tonight I'm going to give you uh, 9 specific signs that show up in people who cannot be trusted, or people that you shouldn't trust. Um, you should not trust people who are unstable. Let's start with that. What do I mean by unstable? Unstable with their attitude, unstable with their moods, unstable emotionally. You don't know what you're going to get out of that person from one day to the next, 1 minute to the next. They can be happy one moment, and the next moment they are just totally upset. And when they get upset, they take it out on everybody around them. People that have bad attitudes, people that are not emotionally stable. You cannot trust people like that, because you're going to eventually become the victim of their instability. You're going to become the victim of their swinging moods, attitudes, and emotions. I know many of us have had encounters with people that we were in some level of relationship with, and you encountered them in a time or in a moment, and they snap off on you or say something to you that uh, blindsides you, and you're saying to yourself, man, where did that come from, or what did I do to deserve that? It's that instability of that individual. That kind of person just can't be trusted. So first of all, you don't want to trust unstable people. You don't want to trust people who are lacking in integrity, people that say one thing and do another. You don't want to trust people who are like that. You want to trust people. You only want to trust people who remain true to their word. You want to trust people who maintain the same stable character, and that goes back to that stability again, but have the same character regardless as to what situation they may find themselves in. You know, I try to be the same person and do the same things I would typically do by myself, even when no one's looking at me. You know, um, it just goes back to knowing who you are and being true to you, who you are consistently and constantly. People who lack integrity cannot be trusted. Don't trust people who are flip-floppers. People who are flip-floppers cannot be trusted. What do I mean by flip-floppers? They never land on and settle on decisions. They go back and forth, whichever way the wind blows at any given time. They'll flip, they'll flop. They'll flip and flop with who or what they believe to be the majority, regardless as to whether the majority is right or wrong. They want to go with the flow of the majority. They're not brave enough and bold enough to stand as a minority. You know, um, so it's um, my conviction. It's my conviction as far as I'm concerned personally. I don't trust flip floppers. I just don't. You can never make up your mind. You can never settle on anything. I just don't believe you can be trusted. I think another group of people that you simply cannot trust are perpetual gossipers, people who always have something to say about everybody. The old people used to say, the older saints in particular, they used to say, anyone who will bring a bone will carry a bone. And what did they mean by that? Um, what they meant is if a person will bring you gossip about somebody else, then they'll carry gossip to others about you. People like that cannot be trusted. I mean, when you can sense that a person just loves to gossip, when they are constantly seeking out the latest, juiciest gossip that they can access or get a hold to, and they're even more ready to spread that gossip, that person can't be trusted. First of all, because a gossiper, a person like that, they seldom tell the truth, or they'll grab a story and they'll embellish it. They'll add stuff to it, things that are just not true. And they'll have people believing things that are just utterly ridiculous. And once again, you need to understand and believe this. Know this for sure. If a person is always bringing you gossip, you better know that at some point in time, you're going to be the object of their gossip. I mean, think about that. They always got something to say about everybody. See, the first question that I ask when a person always knows something about everybody's business is, why are you always up in everybody else's business? How is it that you know so much? Or how is it that you think you know so much? And you can always challenge their gossip. You can always challenge their information by asking them who their source is or who their sources are. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, the person that's carrying all the gossip, they're going to tell you, well, they said. And those of you who have been following me for any length of time, y'all know what I think about the they said crew. Number one, they're never identified. Number two, most of the times they never know what they're talking about, you know. And so their information is really not all that reliable. I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust the word of a perpetual gossiper. And those perpetual gossipers, if you're not careful, if you're not guarding yourself very intently, they can prove to ruin your life. They can put some things out on you that will totally destroy your reputation. I can recall a time when someone very close to me, I thought we were very good friends, only to find out that he was putting gossip out on me that was really, it was really putting my reputation in a bad light, if you will. And so I'm very careful about who I surround myself with. I'm very careful about the people that I allow into my inner circle, and that's about trusting people as well. The people that you allow into your inner circle are the people you tend to trust. Uh, People who lack loyalty cannot be trusted. People just who are not loyal cannot be trusted. They easily turn on friends and even on family. They don't know anything about loyalty rather. The only person they're loyal to uh, is themselves. You don't need a person like that around you. See, a loyal person will stand with you, support you, be there for you, regardless as to what you may be going through the thick and through the thin. Loyal people are going to stand with you. And if a person can't be loyal to you. They shouldn't be trusted by you. Am I making any sense? Another group of people that can't be trusted are, how about this one? Liars. Just straight up liars. People who are prone not to tell the truth. And some people are professional, perpetual liars. Am I hitting home with anybody here tonight? Do you feel what I'm saying? Are you having any kind of reaction to what I'm saying here tonight? Has anything touched a nerve to you yet? Struck a nerve with you yet? Yeah, I'm starting to get those responses now. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? You know you can't trust a liar. You know, and the sad part about it is some people are so comfortable lying that they can't even detect that people know when they're lying. People's facial expressions and body language tend to change around people that they know are lying. Lachelle said, "You're sure right. That's what they do. Liars lie." Absolutely right. And I'm telling you, it's not hard to detect when people are lying. All you have to do is just stop and analyze what's being said to you. And it really becomes obvious when you already know the truth and those people are lying for absolutely no reason. Some people lie for the sake of trying to make themselves look good. Some people lie for the sake of trying to destroy other people. At any rate, liars cannot be trusted. People who are dishonest cannot be trusted. Well, you might be asking the question, what's the difference between being a liar and being dishonest? I'm glad you asked. Dishonest people are people who scheme and scam for personal gain. They might not continuously or consistently lie through verbalizing things, but they are dishonest with their actions. They are deceptive. They deceive people for personal gain. Another group of people that can't be trusted are people who are always suspicious of others because of their own suspicious nature. They have a suspect nature. They are suspicious of other people because they know they can't be trusted themselves. Let that one soak in for a minute, because I know people who seem to always be suspicious of other people. And I question, why are you always so suspicious of everybody? Now, that's a question to be asked and answered. Why? You're suspicious of everybody else is because of the fact that you know you have a suspect nature. You know how you do other people. You know yourself that you're a person that can't be trusted. You're a deceiver. You catch people in your web of deception. And because you're that way, you think that way about everybody else. In other words, you think everybody's like you. And that's not necessarily the case. Michelle, you said when you get duped enough, you do become suspicious of people. Well, that's true. That's true. But I will say this. You may I think depending on your level of maturity, you may become cautious with engaging people, or you may be slower about opening up and fully trusting people when you've been duped a number of times. But when you maintain a character of integrity, you do understand and you realize that everybody is not untrustworthy. I think that's the best way I can say that. You don't have to be suspicious of everybody. Use caution when you first meet people. Take it slow. Don't be in a hurry to just jump in and trust whoever you meet for the first time. I truly believe that trust is something that must be earned, and it could only be earned over a process or over an interim of time. People have to prove themselves to be trustworthy. And yes, I would exercise patience when trying to decide who I can trust. You know, yeah. Don't be so impulsive and quick to trust anybody you come across just because they can talk smoothly, just because they have what you perceive to be a winning personality. That has gotten me into a great deal of trouble over the years. Got to take it slow. you know Lastly, I think this is the last one I have for you. uh you cannot, or you should not, trust people who are leeches. I'm gonna let that one soak in. People who are leeches, people who latch on to others, sucks the life out of them, and then they just leave them. They never make deposits into the lives of others. They only make withdrawals. They are only in a relationship, or attempt to be in relationships where they can pull from the individual rather than depositing something into the individual. People like that cannot be trusted. Why? Because when they conclude that they've sucked out of you everything that they deem useful to you, then that's when they leave you. They leave you high and dry. That's exactly right, Jackie. They are blood suckers. They will suck the life out of you. Now, I certainly don't want to sound like I'm belly aching or complaining, but I've experienced every one of these characteristics that I just listed here uh, out of people who I have been surrounded by. And I know the effect of it. I know how damaging it can be for you to trust someone and that person violates your trust. The pain is deep. Anybody feel what I'm saying here? And the pain can be long lasting. Sometimes it's very hard to get over being hurt by someone that you really thought cared about you. Some people that you thought would never do you the way that they wound up doing you. That's tough. That cuts deep and it hurts deep. And I'm not saying that we can totally avoid that happening, because as well as You might read a person or think you're capable of reading people. Um, there's always that potential for one to slip through the cracks and be able to fool you, even though you had all your guards and detectors up, even though you had all the boundaries set in place that you thought needed to be in place that would protect you from people who cannot be trusted. It happens. People get in there, they slip through, and they wound up hurting you because they violated your trust. Now, again, I want to suggest to you that you not be that person that would conclude, well, I just can't trust anybody, because that's not true. I don't think that's true. I believe if you are a trustworthy person, then I believe God will send some people into your life whom you can trust. You can trust without any reservation. There initially might be some hesitation, but once you conclude that a person can be trusted, God will affirm that person for you, and you'll be able to trust them without any reservation. I mean, let's just think about this realistically. If we're able to trust anybody, how are we going to ever make it through life? Because none of us can make it through life alone. Just can't. We have to engage a certain level of trust. Yes, Minister Lakeisha, I agree. You can trust God. You can trust Him. But even aside from trusting God, there are some people that you must be able to trust. And the truth is, I'll say it again, all of us trust somebody. We trust doctors, we trust dentists, we trust people in engaging in certain business transactions. You gotta trust somebody. We trust people that we claim to be our friends. We trust family. And so again, we cannot totally isolate ourselves to the degree that we're totally insulated from being hurt by untrustworthy people. But we can use certain precautionary measures to make sure that it's not happening over and over and over and over again. We're not getting into situations where people are violating our trust over and over and over again. Because if that's what's happening, then you're an awful poor judge of character. Well, I think that's all I have for tonight. I hope that's been a blessing to you. I hope you learned something. I hope it benefited you. I hope you have a different perspective of who to trust, when to trust, how far to go with trust, because that's another issue and element with regards to trust. Like I said from the very beginning, trust can be tricky. It can be a trap, and it can bring you a whole bunch of trouble. But if you trust the right people, you'll eventually find a treasure. Wow. Man, I think I need to end on that note. That was powerful, even to me. Thank you again for joining me on this 6th day of this 30-day challenge. I hope you will continue to go with me on this journey. Hope to have something good for you tomorrow night as well. And with that being said, I'm going to say to you all once again, God bless and good night.